All right. All right. Well, we're going to start as usual with that. What I like to do, kind of center myself by rubbing my hands till they get nice and warm. Putting them over your eyes. Again. Oh, great. Well, I guess since I'm going to put this on YouTube, I should introduce it a bit to all you looking in YouTube. This is Jon Lobdell. Every Wednesday at 6, I do a poetry reading on Zoom, and then I put it on my YouTube channel. So, nice if you're visiting my YouTube channel, and if you are, please subscribe and give me a chat so I know who's coming in. Yeah, let's get started. I usually like to read something new from the week. Oh, and for all you YouTube guys, I read a little bit of my own poetry, then I read one from my friend Glenda, and then I read some other poems from famous poets. Okay, let me see what I wrote this week. My old cat looks at the sparrow on a branch, but he's not scrunching his butt ready to pounce. His hunting instinct has receded with age. He's merely looking. Cats love to look at everything. I too enjoy looking at the world with my creative eye. My girlfriend used to say I was like a lizard, sitting still and looking. But she said it affectionately and with some envy. Having astigmatism, she never knew the joy of looking out at the distance. The finches in the pear tree also look out over the world. They nervously bob their heads up and down and side to side. It took me a long time to learn how to come behind my eyes. Now I can feel a part of what I'm looking at. I realize how separate I was. I don't know if the cat and the finches feel separate, but I'm pretty sure they don't imagine being separate. Yogananda once said, God loved us so much he gave us the ability to deny him. I suppose he meant God gave us the supreme joy of finding him. It took me a long time of looking for him out there before I realized I could only see him in me. Okay.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. Kind of into using the word God recently. It's a long story, but I never could use that word. Recently I've been able to use it, so I'm kind of enjoying it. But for people who prefer some other word, just substitute that one in there. Goddess or supreme something. It's all good. Yeah, I shouldn't. I suppose God is sort of, well, it's not really sexist, but anyway, enough of that. What do I do now? I read some of my poems from my books. And let's see what I got here. Winged self. The little tufted titmouse is singing to attract a mate. He's already checked out the birdhouse, where last year the wrens made their home. I know what he is feeling, yet it's been years since I sang my mating song. A home of brick and mortar with wife and children is no longer my striving. I'm longing for a transparent house where I've nothing to hide, not my failures or successes. A chrysalis, perhaps, where transformation may occur. A place I may become my winged self, so briefly alive in time, but trusting to fly into eternity. Let's see, what else do I have? Admiration. My poem is written. I think it is good. Now I am his prisoner. I will want people to like it. Because I wrote it, I will want people to admire me. The fruit of my labor has become bitter. Maybe I should write no more poems. A little white egret floating down from the sky distracts me from my thoughts. He lands on top of a large hedge, a bush cut to conform to people's idea of order. I think the scene is a little odd. Don't egrets hunt in water? But he begins that slow stalking walk, peering to see insects or maybe a frog. I'm inspired to write another poem. An egret hunting on top of a hedge. How can I resist speculating, being amazed? I begin writing, and it begins again, the dance of life, forgetting and remembering. I'm probably one of the few people, well, maybe I don't need to go into that. Maybe next time. Let's see what else I got. The hibiscus. The hibiscus was lush and beautiful in the nursery, fresh from a hothouse that mimicked its native clime. But when I planted it in the hard clay of my yard, and instead of tropical heat it had to endure cold fog, it began to not look so good. Its leaves became stunted. Sometimes it was just bare stalks. Several times I decided to pull it out and end its misery. Then all of a sudden it would produce many majestic magenta flowers. When I look at so many of my friends, my tribe, I see unhappy, uneasy faces, as if they were set down on a hostile planet. Yet I know for them and me, inside a perfect flower is growing. And finally, let's see. The lovers. Sun rises at dawn like a woman's breast shining above the earthly raiment. Blush of pink, the morning glories entwined as lovers, open to touch of light. Birds sing promise of new day. Time reveals the full sun. Emotions reach out, grasping like the flower's tendrils, hanging in space, wanting. The honeysuckle perfume floods the senses, the garden a confusion of colors. Lovers lay wondering where the bliss went. Comes dusk, darkness becomes blessing. While sleeping, dew enchants the grass. And again with the dawn, we see our beloved always as the first time, and we realize, in moment of consummation, day and night do not exist. I think I could have done those last two lines better in that one, but it's already written. Oh, great. Let me see. Glenda, you sent me one, right? Let me see.
Yes, I did.
There you are. All right, this one's called Dance With Me by Glenda Reed. Dance with me in the rain. Let the teardrops fall across your face. Sleepy Sundays spent drenched in that mist. Emotions left behind, just an echo of a scent. Watch the rock splash in a sea of chaos. Fall afternoons of flaming leaves. The reality of the day, the emotions of the night, are different movements of the same symphony. Empty your mind for a sweet caress. Feel the mist settle on your lashes and laugh. Run across a puddle of rainbow hue to a house of books and unintended pillows. Dance with me in the rain, in a summer with 2 Julys. Love me more than 1,000 Septembers. Touch my hand and twirl neath the clouds. The sun is just sleeping while the clouds have their way. But its heat hasn't left, but rather it waits to stir the darkness like a chocolate sauce. Wrap us in windswept circles of dew. Your smile is my rainbow to shine in my heart. Your touch is my raindrop to nudge at my soul. Always a summer to usher back memories of when you danced with me in the rain. Lovely, lovely as usual, Glenda.
Thank you.
I like to stir the darkness like a chocolate sauce.
I had it written down on a little piece of paper and I just put it in there.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Alrighty. I'm running out of water. Alright, so now I guess I have some poems from this is by James Wright. A rather long title to it, a short poem. Depressed by a book of bad poetry, I walk toward an unused pasture and invite the insects to join me. Relieved, I let let the book fall behind a stone. I climb a slight rise of grass. I do not want to disturb the ants who are walking single file up the fence post, carrying small white petals, casting shadows so frail that I can see through them. I close my eyes for a moment and listen. The old grasshoppers are tired. They leap heavily now. Their thighs are burdened. I want to hear them. They have clear sounds to make. Then, lovely, far off, a dark cricket begins in the maple trees. And another one by him called Beginning. The moon drops 1 or 2 feathers into the field. The dark wheat listens. Be still now. There they are, the moon's young, trying their wings. Between trees, a slender woman lifts up the lovely shadow of her face, and now she steps into the air. Now she is gone, wholly into the air. I stand alone by an elder tree. I do not dare breathe or move. I listen. The wheat leans back towards its own darkness, and I lean toward mine. I only hear about box elder trees from people in the Midwest. Do you have them there, Glenda? Box elders?
I don't know. If we do, I don't know what they look like.
Robert Bly is always writing about box elders. Let's see. Well, here's one by William Carlos Williams, who I've been kind of interested in lately. He wrote in kind of the middle 20th century, 1900s. The rose. The rose is obsolete, but each petal ends in an edge, the double facet cementing the grooved columns of air. The edge cuts without cutting, meets nothing, renews itself in metal or porcelain. Whither it ends, but if it ends, the start is begun, so that to engage roses becomes a geometry. Sharper, neater, more cutting, figured in Moyokila. I don't know what that is. Majolica. The broken plate glazed with a rose. Somewhere the sense makes copper roses, steel roses. The rose carried weight of love, but love is at end, an end of roses. It is at the edge of the petal that love waits. Crisp, work to defeat, laboredness, fragile, plucked, moist, half raised, cold, precise, touching. What? The place between the petal's edge and the it's funny, this ends there. From the petal's edge, a line starts, that being of steel, infinitely fine, infinitely rigid, penetrates the Milky Way without contact, lifting from it, neither hanging nor pushing. The fragility of the flower, unbruised, penetrates space. It's not an easy poem, but interesting wordsmithing. I like good wordsmithing, even if I don't know what they're talking about. My own poems are more simple. Here's one by Joy Harjo. I guess was poet laureate of the U.S. at some point. Called Stomp All Night. Let's hear it for the sisters. They know how to stomp. Up all night, cook all day. Give it to the brothers. They know how to sing. In the circle all day, up all night. Round dance, chicken scratch, 49 and stomp. Bury my heart at Horseshoe Bend. We pay for light, pay for water. Next thing you know, we'll pay to breathe harder. Let's hear it for the sisters. They know how to stomp. Text all day, talk all night. Give it to the brothers. They know how to sing. Love all night, pay all day. Ooh, this is some weird language here. I'll just skip that. Let's hear it for the sisters. They know how to stomp. Dance all night, kids all day. Give it to the brothers. They know how to sing. Work all day, kids at night. Those grounds north of 40 keep their cool. They're warm and friendly and like to play pool. The grounds south of 40 sing loose and sweet. They're sure good looking, like pork meat. Let's hear it for the sisters. They know how to stomp. Up all night, cook all day. Give it to the brothers. They know how to sing. Work all day, up all night. Stomp all night until the morning light. The Trail of Tears ends here in the Muskogee Creek Nation Reservation. Stomp all night until the morning light. We take care of the songs will take care of us.
It almost sounds like a song.
It was like a song, yeah, I can imagine. I almost felt like singing it, except I can't think very well. Well, Let's see what else I got. Oh, I thought somebody else joined for a minute. Okay. Here's a poem I always liked. It's by John Updike, who was, of course, more famous as a novelist, called Hoeing. I sometimes fear the younger generation will be deprived of the pleasures of hoeing. There is no knowing how many souls have been formed by this simple exercise. The dry earth like a great scab breaks, revealing moist dark loam, the pea root's home, a fertile wound, perpetually healing. How neatly the green weeds go under, the blade chops the earth new, ignorant the wise boy, who has never performed this simple, stupid, and useful wonder. Here's a kind of a simple poem by somebody named Thomas Clark. Some details of Hebridean house construction. I'm imagining that somewhere in Scotland, maybe. The walls are built with unmortared boulders. The external faces have an inward slope, the corners rounded. Roofs are thatched with straw, ferns, or heather, and weighted with stones hung from heather ropes. Instead of overhanging, the roof is set back on a broad wall top, which in course of time becomes mantled with grass and verdure, which may provide occasional browsing for a sheep or goat. Back to the wind, face to the sun is the general orientation. The floor is of beaten earth, and the main room is reached by way of the byre, B-Y-R-E. There are no windows, and the frugal flame of the peat gives the only illumination. Smoke wanders and finds egress by a hole in the roof. In the outer aisles, the floor is covered with the white sand from the machair, M-A-C-H-A-I-R. A few steps ascend the wall near the door to enable the roof to be thatched or roped, or the family to sit in the summer weather and sew, chat, or knit. By the peat store near to the doorway is placed a large stone for the wanderer to sit on. I'd like to see one of those. Interesting little domicile, except for the no windows. I don't know if I like that. It's a poem by Theodore Rithke, who I think his father owned a nursery, so he makes a lot of poems about plants and things. This one's almost like a little song as well. Oh, lull me, number one. One sigh stretches heaven in this, the diocese of mice, whose bishop of breathing. How still she keeps herself, blessed be torpor, not all animals move about. Tell me, great lords of sting, is it time to think? When I say things fond, I hear singing of my love's light as a duck on a moon-forgotten wave. The sea has many streets, the beach rises with the waves. I know my own bones, this doxy doesn't do. Number two, the air provides light, fattens the rock. Let's play before we forget. A wish, oh lovely chink, oh white, way to another grace. I see my heart in the seed, I breathe into a dream, and the ground cries. I'm crazed and graceless, a winter leaping frog. Soothe me, great groans of underneath. I'm still waiting for a foot. The poke of the wind's close, but I can't go leaping alone. For you, my pond, rocking with small fish, I'm an otter with only one nose. I'm all ready to whistle. I'm more than when I was born. I could say hello to things. I could talk to a snail. I see what sings, what sings. That was fun to read. Maybe this is the night for sing-song poems. Well, I think that's the last one I have. Well, let's do some Mary. She's got sing-song poems, I bet. At this one. With the blackest of inks, at night the panther who is lean and quick is only a pair of eyes, with a yawn momentarily, a long pink tongue. Mostly he listens as he walks, on the puffs of his feet, as if on a carpet, from Persia, or leaps into the branches of a tree, or swims across the river, or simply stands in the grass and waits. Because, sir, you have given him, for your own reasons, everything that he needs: leaves, food, shelter, a conscience that never blinks. Let's see, this one will be good. On thy wondrous works I will meditate. Number 1. All day up and down the shore, the fine points of the waves keep on tapping whatever is there. Scatter of broken clams, empty jingles, old oyster shells thick and castellated that held once the pale jewel of their bodies, such sweet tongue and juice. And you who think you are sauntering along 5 feet up in the air, the ocean of blue fire around your ankles, the sun on your face, on your shoulders, is golden mouth whispering. So it seems, you. Number 2. Now the afternoon wind, all frill and with no apparent purpose, takes her cloud-shaped hands and touches every one of the waves, so that rapidly they stir the wings of the eiders, they blur the boats on the moorings. Not even the rocks, black and blunt, interrupt the waves on their way to the shore. And one last swimmer, is it you? Rides the salty infoldings and outfoldings until peaked, their blue sides heaving, they pause, and God whistles them back, and you glide safely to shore. Number 3. One morning, 100 pink and cylindrical squid lay beached, their lacy faces, their gnarls of dimples and ropey tentacles, limp and powerless. As I watched, the big gulls went down upon them, this sweet trash rolling like the arms of babies through the swash. In a feathered dash, a calligraphy of delight, the beaks fell, grabbing and snapping. Then was left only the empty beach. The birds floated back over the waves. How many mysteries have you seen in your lifetime? How many nets pulled full over the boat's side? Each silver body, ready or not, falling into submission. How many roses in early summer uncurling above the pale sands? That's a long poem. And falling back in unfathomable willingness. And what can you say? Glory to the rose and leaf, to the seed, to the silver fish. Glory to time and the wild fields, and to joy, and to grief's shock and torpor, its near swoon. Number 5. So it is not hard to understand where God's body is. It is everywhere and everything, shore and the vast fields of water, the accidental and the intended over here and over there. And I bow down, participate, and attentive. It is so dense and apparent, and all the same I am still unsatisfied. Standing here now I am thinking, not of his thick wrists and his blue shoulders, but still of him. Where do you suppose is his pale and wonderful mind? 6. I, I would be good, oh, I would be upright and good. To what purpose? To be shining, not sinful, not wringing out the hours. Petulant, petulance, heaviness, ashes. To what purpose? Hope of heaven, not that, but to enter the other kingdom, grace and imagination. And the multiple symphonies, to be a leaf, a rose, a dolphin, a wave rising, slowly then briskly out to the darkness, to touch the limpid air, to be God's mind, servant, loving with the body's sweet mouth, its kisses, its words, everything. Number 7. I know a man of such mildness and kindness, it is trying to change my life. He does not preach, teach, but simply is. It is astonishing, for he is Christ's ambassador, truly by rule and act. But more, he is kind with the sort of kindness that shines out, but is resolute, not fooled. He has eaten the dark hours, and could also, I think, soldier for God, riding out under the storm clouds against the world's pride and unkindness, with both unassailable sweetness and consoling word. There's another one. Number 8. All right, that's fine. Every morning I want to kneel down on the golden cloth of the sand and say some kind of musical thanks for the world that is happening again. Another day, from the shawl of wind coming out of the west to the firm green flesh of the melon lately sliced open and eaten, its chill and ample body flavored with mercy. I want to be worthy of what? Glory? Yet unimaginable glory. O Lord of melons, of mercy, though I am not ready nor worthy, I am climbing toward you. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Well, I think I'm going to end up there. It's about out of time here. And great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, thank you. I loved your poem too, Glenda.
Thank you.
Have a great week, you guys.
Yeah,
You too.
you too, Julie and Glenda. Have a lovely week, both of you. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Good night.
Right. See you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.